What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Today is Monday, which means Monday mail days. Got some good questions. We had a great weekend of boxing. Got some Broner questions. I think I got a Matthysse question in there somewhere. So let's get right into it and let me address the questions. Some of them are similar. I grouped those questions. First one comes from Robert Price. Do you think Broner can dominate 140? He looks strong in the division. I still think a good pressure fighter will beat him though. Now, dominate is a strong word. And Broner, for me, has been highly inconsistent. So I'm not going to say dominant when you got guys like Terrence Crawford, Victor Postal, and different guys like that in the division. That's a strong word. I think Broner could hold his own and do well with the top guys and perhaps beat some of them. I really like what I've seen from him versus Algieri. The only thing is he has to keep showing. Again, he's been very inconsistent. After the Maidana loss, he said, you know, AB ain't losing again. That loss was everything to me. And then he lost to Sean Porter and looked pretty shitty. He didn't look like he did yesterday versus Algieri or the other day versus Algieri. So it's just really going to come down to consistency for me. I just have to see more of the same. And Algieri stylistically is not the type of style and didn't have the approach in his game plan that has given Broner problems. So I want to see him look like he did versus a guy like Omar Figueroa, if he's going to stay in the division, a volume guy that'll give you some work, that can punch, something like that. And that'll really show me. And Omar Figueroa is he is pretty long, no homo. He has long arms and things like that. So I think that would be a good fight at 140 to show how he deals with that pressure style. So I don't know if he can dominate 140, but I definitely think he could hold his own really with anybody. He just has to come correct, come focused, stop the partying, really discipline and hone his skills. But I mean, he shows you in spots that he can put it together. Like he was throwing some nasty uppercuts and he looked good when he was doing work. His defense looked tighter. So I think he just has to buckle down and really choose what he wants to do. Do you want to be a rapper and party entertainer or whatever? Or do you want to be a real boxer? So as long as he sticks to that game plan, I think he should be fine. And there's guys that could beat at 140. Next Broner questions from Dream Chasing Boxing. Do you give Broner credit for his win last night? And is Lucas finally finished at the elite level? Certainly give Broner credit. I mean, Algieri, the people who don't give him credit are people who are probably more or less casual fans or hate Broner, and they're going to be biased anyway. The reason I say that because Algieri is a guy that went in with Jesse Vargas. Jesse Vargas, who recently fought Timothy Bradley, gave him a run for his money in that 12th round. So Timothy Bradley is definitely a world-class fighter. Jesse Vargas is considered a good fighter, you know what I'm saying? And Jesse Vargas, I thought, lost to Algieri. So Broner, coming off of a loss and dominating him, winning pretty much every round except for maybe round 9. And I almost want to give round 9 to Broner because he had one of the sickest uppercuts in that round. It just looked disgusting, where he just totally chin-checked Algieri. But he made it look easy, and he made it look like what it was supposed to, versus Jesse Vargas, who's considered a good fighter also. And Jesse Vargas narrowly escaped with the win that was disputed. So I definitely give Broner credit. Again, a lot of the people that don't give him credit for the Algieri win are people who don't really know Algieri. You know what I'm saying? And everyone, this day and age in boxing, everyone's a bum. If they haven't heard of you and you're not like a Canelo or a big name that rings bells, they consider you a bum. And that's not how boxing works. I genuinely think a lot of these guys, I mean, we all know what a cherry pick, Rod Salka and shit like that shouldn't have happened. But a lot of these guys are coming to win, and sometimes they have certain things that could be problematic or power or different stuff. I don't think these guys in all situations are just coming to lose. You know what I'm saying? So Algieri, he showed he was tough and he was game. He just didn't have what it took. He didn't have the tools to beat Broner, and Broner showed that. So I give him credit for that, and I just, like I said in the last question, want to see him keep doing that. And your second part of your question, is Lucas finally finished at the elite level? Tough to tell. I don't like how he quit. I mean, he said his eye was hurting or something and he quit, so he might be. You know what I mean? Danny Garcia, like basically everything he said he wanted, that wasn't the performance or the way to get it. He was talking about he wanted to fight the Mayweather-Pacquiao winner. Then they were saying possibly Matthysse versus Pacquiao. Then he said he wanted to maybe move up to 147 and rematch Danny Garcia. I mean, quitting is not the way to do it. And he said he could have got up, but his eye popped or something. So he might be done. I mean, he's still a threat. He's still entertaining style-wise, still has power. It's just not everyone's going to be able to do what Postal did to him. It's just how this is going to affect him mentally. He's a guy who's never been stopped. Sometimes when you get these monsters in here, it don't matter how hard you can crack. If your confidence is not there, you're never going to be the same fighter. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when fighters get embarrassed or lost, they're not the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough to tell because Matthysse got a couple losses. Even though some of them are disputed, like the Zab Judah and the Devin Alexander, there's still losses on his record. So that's 2 right there. Danny Garcia is a 3rd. And then now getting stopped is a 4th. You know what I mean? And 2 of those losses, one was in 2013 versus Danny Garcia on the Mayweather versus Canelo 1 card. And now in 2015, you're getting stopped. So it's possible that he's done at the elite level. I mean, if anything, if I was Terrence Crawford, that would give me confidence in my style that I could beat Matthysse if they were going to make that match or something like that. So it might be. He might be done where he's just like, I don't know, just a powerful guy and you can't sleep on him. But there's a lot of talent and a lot of guys with momentum, Amir Imams and Terrence Crawford and undefeated fighters, Victor Postal. And I don't really know, based on what I've seen, I don't know if Matthysse has the technique to beat Victor Postal in the second, especially if Victor Postal, if they were to rematch and he knows he was able to stop him. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know if he would do much better. So that's just my personal opinion. I do like Matthysse, though, so we'll see. And Henny Peace with expected Lemieux lose it hurt Golden Boy Promotions badly. That's a good question. Yeah, and I made a video about the rise and fall of Golden Boy Promotions, and I brought up these topics months ago, if you guys check the channel. And yeah, Golden Boy, in my honest opinion, their marquee stars are Canelo being the biggest, and he re-signed, so that's good. Matthysse, you have Mauricio Herrera, and David Lemieux. And none of the other guys other than Canelo are really huge stars, like rock stars, like I can sell out a venue that holds 40,000 people. Canelo can do that, but can Mauricio Herrera? And I'm not bad-mouthing these fighters and their style because Mauricio Herrera is my dude. I like Matthysse. I like Herrera. I like all these guys. But I'm just talking about star power. David Lemieux, I mean, maybe in Canada, but can he come to the States and sell out StubHub? You know what I mean? Some random place. Does he have a fan base like that? You know what I'm saying? He has an entertaining style, but it's people don't understand the branding and the marketing. So, yeah, if these guys, Matthysse already lost, that's one. So if Lemieux loses, which I think he will lose to Triple G, that's already hurting. Especially if Canelo loses to Cotto, which is another dangerous fight, then that's all of your stars, all of your marquee names with losses. And boxing is unforgiving, and that's really what it is. That's what it boils down to. You make tough fights, and if your fighters don't come out on top, then people remember that. I mean, how would a loss to Cotto increase Canelo's star power? He already lost to Mayweather. He has a controversial win over ERROL LARA. So if he were to lose to Cotto, depending on how he were to lose, if it was a stoppage or a decision, split decision or whatever, depending on how severe the loss was, it's not going to increase his stock because in some fans' mind, if he loses to Cotto, that'll be a 3rd loss. The second being Lara, which even though he got credit for the win, it was disputed. So yeah, Golden Boy, I'm not saying that's the only people they have, but those are the biggest names on the Golden Boy promotion side. So they can't afford to all lose. You know what I mean? It's just like when Freddie Roach, all of his fighters in his stable were losing. You know what I mean? It's just not a good look when everybody in your squad is losing. That's just how boxing is. And these questions are similar. This one comes from Tito Nunez. Do you agree with Chocolatito being #1 pound for pound? And Fighting_Pride said, Ego, what do you think of Chocolatito Gonzalez as pound for pound #1? I personally don't think #1 at least. Your thoughts? So you guys both pretty much asked the same question. Now, I put a lot of people on Roman Gonzalez, Chocolatito. I love watching him fight. I'm happy that he's on a pay-per-view card and getting more exposure. He had his HBO debut. But #1 is absurd to put him on #1. First of all, he hasn't even fought Brian Valoria, which is a good fight. But Brian Valoria even is a guy with losses. You know what I mean? Multiple losses. So to like from a skill point of view, he certainly could be on people's pound for pound list. But I used this analogy before. It's like a teacher. If boxing is a homework assignment, a 7-page essay, you don't get credit when I don't get to read your 7-page essay. You have to turn the assignment in. Even though I think you're a great student, and in the past you've proven you're a great student, I can't just give you credit for something you haven't done. So as much as I like Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, I still have to see more from him. You know what I'm saying? And I've watched a lot of his fights, but I have to see more. And he's not in a division that I would call stacked. So how do you trump guys who are fighting, like, let's say Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford fought an undefeated Yuriorkis Gamboa, who's an Olympic gold medalist. He fought Manny Pacquiao's longtime sparring partner and veteran in Ray Beltran, who has some power, and was on the wrong side of some decisions, like the Ricky Burns fight and Sharif Bogaray and stuff like that, right? He fought Ricky Burns in Ricky Burns' hometown. So how can I put Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez at number 1 ahead of Andre Ward and all these other people when they've at least fought big threats in their division, and their divisions are probably a little bit more stacked than Chocolatito's? So I don't agree with it being number 1. I think he has the skills to definitely be on people's pound for pound list, but it's just a matter of showing improving, and we have to see him continue to fight the fights, and hopefully he fights Estrada after, or somebody else that is going to show what he's really made of. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. Like, I'm not saying this is nothing against him, but anybody can look like the man if you're in a division that's not stacked. You know what I mean? Like Marco Huck can be killing everybody at cruiserweight, but cruiserweight's not a stacked division. Could Marco Huck beat Evander Holyfield when Holyfield was at cruiserweight? You see what I'm saying? So it's anybody can look better. Like, it's like Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey looks extremely good, but she's also in a very limited talent pool where there's not really that many women in her weight class that have the amount of experience that she has, the background and stuff like that. That's why people want to see her fight Chris Cyborg, because at least Cyborg has some advantages in that fight. You know what I'm saying? So it's a matter of what division you're in and stuff. That's why a lot of times fighters move up out of divisions, because there's more opportunities in higher divisions and stuff like that. So we'll see. I like Roman Gonzalez, but I can't put him at number 1 just yet, pound for pound. Next question comes from Justin Clark. Why isn't Rigondeaux being mentioned much about, quote unquote, taking over boxing now that Mayweather has retired? And another person had a Rigondeaux question. Shizzle8746. Why is the boxing world acting like Rigondeaux doesn't exist at all? Now, I honestly think just bad management in general. When he was with Top Rank, they badmouthed him. You know what I'm saying? Top Rank, he's a boring style. HBO vomits every time they hear the name Rigondeaux. How can you expect a promotional company is in essence a salesperson? How can you expect to sell something, which is your fighter or your fighter in a fight, to a network or to the public when you're bad-mouthing your own product? You know what I'm saying? If I went to McDonald's and they're like, ugh, I wouldn't eat that burger if I was you, then I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Why wouldn't I eat that burger? You know what I'm saying? You can't sell a product if you're bad-mouthing it. You know what I'm saying? So that didn't really work. He's with Caribe Promotions, which isn't a big enough vehicle in boxing to make a mark. So I just think ultimately Rigondeaux, being highly skilled, is taking a back seat and hasn't been afforded all the opportunities, because he does have a tricky style, which some people are going to say is boring or running. No matter if he fights a Magasa toe-to-toe, gets knocked down twice and gets back up, and then, you know what I mean, blackens his eye or whatever and makes it look like he has a golf ball in his mouth. They don't care. People believe in these stereotypes or believe in what the promoter said or other boxing channels or whoever. You know what I'm saying? So I think Rigondeaux has almost been blackballed to a degree by the fans, the media, boxing writers, his former promoter in Top Rank, things like that. So that's why you're not hearing much buzz. And plus, on top of that, that comes with not being able to get fights. You know what I'm saying? People know Rigondeaux's a problem. You see, Leo Santa Cruz had no problem facing Abner Matas. In fact, he welcomed that fight and he was all for it. But for whatever reason, Team Leo Santa Cruz, they didn't really want to fight Rigondeaux. I mean, there's interviews on that right now. You can go to Google, YouTube, and you can hear Leo Santa Cruz's dad, and he's saying, Like, nah, we're not trying to fight him. And they're making up all these excuses in the world about his style and it's not fan friendly and why they don't want to fight him. So Rigondeaux is just very good. People know what type of problem he is, and he's a threat. So he has the skills to take over boxing. It's just a matter of he needs the opportunity. Anyone can have the skill, but sometimes you need the opportunity. And boxing is very political. There's a lot of different things, race and blackballing and underhanded tactics. So hopefully Rigondeaux signs with Al Heyman and he can get some spotlight, get some more exposure, so we could celebrate all the walks of life, all the different styles in boxing, and the guys that are really skilled and disciplined. Rigondeaux year-round is in shape. Rigondeaux has one of the highest IQs and skill sets in current boxing. You know what I'm saying? So there's no reason why we shouldn't be celebrating it. But to answer both of your questions, I think the reason he hasn't been celebrated is because of the backlash from promoters, fans, boxing writers, the media, and stuff like that, and just not getting the opportunity. So people can't fall in love with his style if he's not really fighting, or he's fighting in Japan and you can't really watch it in the States and things like that. So I think Rigondeaux just has to be patient. He definitely has the skills already. He just has to not let this process throw him off, and hopefully there's better things in store. Like I said, if he signs to Al Heyman and Al Heyman puts him on PBC or gives him a Frampton fight, Santa Cruz fight, something like that, I think that would be big for his career. So hopefully his time is coming, and hopefully his next move is the right business move that'll give him some more looks. Next question is from Fernandez Harris. Yo, Ego, I think Chris Algieri would be a great next opponent for Errol Spence Jr. What you think? Good fight or nah? It would definitely be a test for him. I agree. I didn't really think of that particular matchup, but Chris Algieri, he showed that he could switch up a bit. He has a new trainer in John David Jackson, hell of a trainer, trains Sergey Kovalev, and I like what I seen in the Khan fight. Even though Chris Algieri lost that particular fight, he showed some different. He showed the grit, and he was like walking through Amir Khan's speed and his best shots and stuff like that. So I like the heart that Chris Algieri has. He has boxing ability. He shows he can mix it up and get his hands dirty. So that would be a great fight. I think Errol Spence Jr. he's pushing that, like he's teetering right on the edge where fans are going to start getting like mad if he doesn't start fighting it like a name, somebody with a bigger name, somebody that we've heard of, like not like a Phil Greco or something like that. But I think Chris Algieri, if he were to fight a guy like Robert Guerrero, Josecito Lopez, Victor Ortiz, just somebody with a name like that, fans can say, oh yeah, I've seen him fight that person before. You know what I mean? Andre Berto, any guy with a name. You know what I mean? So Chris Algieri would certainly be one. Chris Algieri has he's lanky, rangy, and we'll see how he looks against a guy like that. Chris Algieri was also in there with Pacquiao, who has power, so it would be interesting to see if Algieri is durable enough for Errol Spence's style. So yeah, I like that fight, and I think hopefully whoever he fights next, Chris Algieri fights, or excuse me, Errol Spence Jr. fights somebody of note, like not a Helsing, Van Heerden, and all that, like just a regular name that we've probably mentioned multiple times. Next question is from Tosha the Best. Yo, Ego, what fights do you see on the horizon for ERISLANDY LARA? I like his style, but you know how you never get a fair shake being a slick defensive boxer. He's supposed to fight either this month or next month, and I don't even know who he's fighting. I don't think they've announced it. I think it might be TBA, and that's another Cuban fighter who kind of goes on under the radar, been on the wrong side of some decisions. Some would say like the Canelo fight, things like that. I really don't know. Me personally, I would love to see ERISLANDY LARA fight Demetrius Andrade, old grudge match from the amateurs, J-Rock, like another skilled fighter, you know what I'm saying? A Canelo rematch, but Canelo, you know what I mean, has his own issues with Cotto. I'd love to see Laura and Cotto in the future. Any of those fights to me are great. He already beat Trout. Anything like that, Charlo brother, anything that really just shows the best side of him. Vanes Matarosen, I would actually entertain. He just beat Ishe Smith. Some people thought he beat the Charlo brother. I would entertain a rematch. You know what I mean? See if we can get a more definitive answer with Vanes Matarosen and Laura. Those are probably the fights that I would want to see on the horizon. But again, he's supposed to be fighting next month, and I still haven't heard a definitive person. So I'm usually when it's a TBA, it's not really a killer. You know what I'm saying? It's not really a name. K9 Bunger just lost. So I really feel like it's not going to be somebody that I want, but those are the people I would want to see him fight. And the very last question is from Wild Out. What's good, Ego? How come Wilder gets a lot of hate, but Triple G is loved? I mean, they both have 34 fights and 33 knockouts, but the only difference is Wilder has actually fought a world champion in his division, and Triple G hasn't. Good question. I mean, race has, people get mad, oh, you're pulling the race card, but you prove otherwise. You know what I'm saying? I think race has something to do with it. Some people are just tribal, and some people, other thing is some people don't know boxing. They rely on information that they heard others say. They don't really research. Like, you could check my Twitter and social medias and stuff like that. I've always been involved with boxing. You can hear me tweet and talk about boxing. I have a boxing channel. I go to boxing gyms. I talk to trainers and boxers. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I do. This, like, boxing shit. You know what I mean? But not everyone's that vested in it. So, that being said, Deontay Wilder and certain people, they always get a bad rap. Like, Danny Garcia, Deontay Wilder. Like, no matter what they do, like, people hate Danny Garcia to the point where they're willing to discount his whole resume. And he actually has a solid resume. You know what I mean? Lucas Matthysse, Zab Judah, Eric Morales twice, and he knocked him out once. He's been in there with Amir Khan, stopped him. You know what I mean? Lamont Peterson. Like, I'm not even talking about the outcomes of these fights. I'm just really talking about who he stepped foot in the ring with. You know what I mean? Nate Campbell, Ashley Theophane. You know what I mean? Danny Garcia has a solid resume. But, again, you get these foolish fans who, they'll discount everything because of Rod Salka, because he fought Rod Salka or whatever. Or Deontay Wilder. Again, people don't know enough about boxing to know what they're talking about. Like, Audley Harrison, a former Olympian, Deontay Wilder knocked him out. He fought Bermain Stavern. He fought a guy in Eric Molina with the 81% knockout ratio. He fought Duhapa, who put up a good fight and was tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, cut the man some slack. It's heavyweights. Out of all divisions, heavyweights, one punch can change anything. You know what I'm saying? When a dude's cracking you 230 plus pounds, 250 pounds, you know what I mean? That could be the difference right there. You know what I mean? Just getting hit by a behemoth of a man. You know what I'm saying? So Deontay Wilder, anything could happen. You know what I mean? He's still undefeated. He's entertaining, charismatic. Triple G's a good fighter too. Triple G probably has a better technique of delivering his offense. Wilder, he started boxing late. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not expecting him to be on the same level of delivering his offense as Triple G, who had a very decorated amateur background. So they're two different fighters. But it just boils down to the fans. You know what I mean? Some fans they just pick sides and they treat it like gang warfare. Like, oh, fuck, everybody hates Deontay Wilder. Let me hate him too. Or everyone loves Triple G. And most people, unlike me, I never had a problem with this, is I don't care if everybody's against me. I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. If I really think a person's going to win a fight, I don't care what a million people against me. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. And especially with this internet shit, not everyone is willing to stand on their own 2 feet. They want to be part of the crowd. I'd rather stand out from the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Especially if that's my real belief. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like everybody else. But a lot of boxing fans aren't like that. They like to assimilate and, you know what I'm saying, be one of the crowd. Like, yeah, Deontay Wilder, he sucks. He's a bum. He's fighting all bums. Povetkin will knock him out. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Povetkin has power. Povetkin can definitely knock out Deontay Wilder, but it's not a foregone conclusion that Povetkin will, in fact, beat Deontay Wilder, in my opinion. Deontay Wilder's like 6'7", and Povetkin already has a loss to Klitschko, and I'm not comparing Klitschko to Wilder, but they're both tall. So that comes with problems. Like look at Lucas Matthysse. He got cracks. Lucas Matthysse could crack, but he was having a problem with the much taller Victor Postal, who was like 4 inches taller than him. So that's the thing. A lot of people don't know boxing. You have to take into consideration all of the variables. Yes, Povetkin can crack. I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on Deontay Wilder's chin, but again, he has power. Deontay Wilder, if anything, he showed me he has power. I think that's absolutely real. His power, You know what I mean? The way I seen a guy, it looked like he was having a seizure after he got knocked out. So I think, you know what I mean, you have to still get in close. You know what I mean? Mike Perez and Povetkin, they're both about the same height. You know what I mean? Povetkin might have even been taller. They're both short, like stocky heavyweights. And Povetkin has a real compact, short build. So to get on the inside of someone who's 6'7", it's possible. But I mean, Wilder showed me some different things. Like he showed some athletic ability, moving, a jab, and he has power. So that's a good fight. But let the fans tell it. Povetkin will knock him out, which is, again, I'm a realistic fan. Povetkin can knock out Wilder. He has the power to. But it's not as simple as some people make it. You still have to, like, it's easier said than done. You know what I'm saying? Especially when a motherfucker has power and he's 6'7". If Wilder didn't have no power, then I'll be like, okay, the height only wouldn't matter. But, I mean, the dude's 6'7" with, like, probably some of the biggest power rating in the heavyweight division currently. So, you know what I'm saying? To count him out is just stupid. So, again, people are tribal. A lot of people like Triple G. He's very humble and maybe hate Wilder. I don't know. It's hard to answer that because I'm not like it. I'm not like one of those. I'm just kind of going off of comments I've read, and it just all boils down to the fans and tribalism and what fighters they like and what fighters they don't like. You know what I mean? Like, I see people like, oh, Pacquiao's the greatest and he's the humanitarian and stuff like that. And even when Pacquiao acts like a poor sport, they still call Mayweather a bitch. And Pacquiao's a humanitarian, even though Mayweather gave credit to Pacquiao after the fight, and Pacquiao gave Floyd no credit, said he was running, wouldn't sit still, and stuff like that. So it's just funny how boxing fans will work, and they just have kind of like predetermined thought processes on certain fighters, and they just go off the handle with it. And that's just my thoughts. Let me know how you think I did on this week. Monday Mail Day. I try to answer a lot of questions. Leave a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.